Scientists discovered in 1937 that a simple vitamin could transform aging skin. Dermatologists have had the clinical proof since 2005. 13 clinical studies, 970 women, all confirming the same thing. Yet the beauty industry never told you, because the ingredient costs $4. I'm going to show you everything today. In 1937, American biochemist Conrad Arnold discovered a compound from liver extracts while studying pellagra, a disease that causes severe skin damage, inflammation, and breakdown of the skin barrier. He found that this compound, later named niacinamide, could reverse those symptoms. From that point, it became clear that it was not just a vitamin, but a substance directly involved in how the skin functions, repairs itself, and maintains its structure. In 1942, the U.S. government adopted the name niacinamide and began adding it to common foods such as flour to prevent deficiency. By the 1940s, it was already present in everyday diets. However, while it was widely used for internal health, its relevance for topical skin use was not communicated in the same way, even though its connection to skin repair and barrier function was already understood. The knowledge existed, but it was not reflected in common skincare practices. By the 1970s and 1980s, dermatologists observed that patients taking vitamin B3 derivatives showed improvements in inflammatory skin conditions. At the same time, early studies on topical use showed that niacinamide could reduce water loss, strengthen the skin barrier, and calm irritation. These were measurable changes within the skin, affecting how it retains moisture and responds to stress. Despite this, the findings remained largely within medical literature and were not widely translated into everyday skincare guidance. In the 1990s, niacinamide began to appear in skincare formulations, particularly in Japan and parts of Europe. Rather than being presented as a simple, well-understood vitamin, it was included within more complex products and sold at higher prices. The ingredient itself was inexpensive to produce, yet it was rarely identified as the main active component. By that time, the underlying science had already been established for decades, but the way it was introduced made it appear new and proprietary. In 2005, a controlled clinical study evaluated a 5% niacinamide formulation in 50 women between the ages of 40 and 60 over a 12-week period. The results showed measurable improvements across several visible signs of aging at once. Fine lines were reduced, elasticity improved, discoloration became less noticeable, and overall skin clarity increased. These changes occurred together from a single ingredient that had already been studied for many years. The findings were published, reviewed, and available in medical literature. However, they were not widely communicated in a way that reached everyday skincare use. There was no broad shift in how aging skin was approached, and the information remained largely technical and fragmented. Forehead lines are often considered a natural part of aging, but the underlying processes are more specific. After the age of 40, collagen breaks down faster than it is replaced. Sugar molecules attach to collagen, making it less flexible. The skin barrier becomes weaker, allowing moisture to escape more easily. At the same time, cellular energy declines, which slows repair. These processes interact with each other, and over time, they make lines more visible and more difficult to reverse. The first mechanism involves collagen breakdown. Within the skin, there are enzymes known as matrix metalloproteinases, or MMPs, which break down damaged collagen. After the age of 40, their activity increases and begins to affect healthy collagen as well. Niacinamide has been shown to reduce the activity of these enzymes, helping to slow this process. At the same time, it supports fibroblasts, the cells that produce new collagen and elastin. This means it not only helps protect existing structure, but also supports gradual rebuilding. Over time, this influences how the skin maintains its firmness, particularly in areas like the forehead that are exposed to repeated movement. The second mechanism is glycation, a process that affects how flexible the skin remains. Glycation occurs when sugar molecules attach to collagen fibers, making them stiff rather than flexible. Healthy collagen can move and adapt, but when it becomes rigid, the skin develops a more fixed, creased appearance. Niacinamide contributes to the production of molecules such as NADH and NADPH, which are involved in antioxidant activity that helps limit this process. By reducing glycation, it helps maintain the natural flexibility of collagen, which affects how lines form and settle in the skin. The third mechanism relates to the skin barrier. As this barrier weakens with age, the skin loses moisture more easily, and even fine lines become more visible. Niacinamide supports the production of ceramides, which are lipids that help keep skin cells connected and reduce water loss. It also increases key structural proteins, including keratin, involucrin, and filaggrin. A stronger barrier allows the skin to retain moisture more effectively, which can make lines appear softer. In many cases, improvements in hydration and surface texture are noticed before deeper structural changes take place. The fourth mechanism involves cellular energy. Skin cells rely on a molecule called NAD+ to carry out essential functions such as repair and regeneration. After 40, NAD+ levels decline, and the skin becomes slower to recover from daily stress, including environmental exposure and repeated facial movement. Niacinamide helps to restore this energy supply, which supports the skin's ability to repair itself over time and contributes to gradual improvements in how it responds to the factors that lead to visible lines. More recent research has introduced an additional perspective on how niacinamide works. A 2024 study described its role as a xenomorphic, meaning it can influence the behavior of aging cells. These are cells that no longer function properly, but remain in the skin and release signals that promote inflammation and accelerate aging in surrounding tissue, and that contribute to collagen breakdown. Niacinamide has been shown to reduce this activity, helping to maintain a more balanced environment within the skin. In clinical settings, this has been associated with measurable improvements in smoothness, firmness, and the appearance of fine lines over a relatively short period. When these mechanisms are considered together, the key point is not only that they are effective, but that they act on several causes of forehead lines at the same time. Many products focus on a single pathway, such as hydration or collagen stimulation. Niacinamide works across multiple levels, including structural proteins, the skin barrier, cellular energy, and the signals exchanged between cells during aging. This leads to a gradual change in how the skin functions beneath the surface, which over time affects how lines form and how visible they become. The subject then changes to how this approach compares to other options commonly used for forehead lines. Most approaches fall into two categories. There are topical products that aim to improve the appearance of the skin over time, and there are clinical procedures that produce quicker results but require ongoing maintenance. Niacinamide sits between these, offering a gradual but broader effect without the need for repeated interventions. Cost is one of the most immediate differences. Injectable treatments for forehead lines typically cost between $400 and $600 per session, with results lasting a few months before they need to be repeated. Over time, this becomes a recurring expense. In contrast, a niacinamide serum at concentrations used in clinical studies, around 5%, is available in most pharmacies at a much lower cost. Rather than temporarily affecting movement, it supports the underlying structure of the skin. Effectiveness can be assessed through direct comparison. In a controlled study, a formulation containing niacinamide was compared with prescription tretinoin, a commonly used treatment for wrinkles. After 8 weeks, 58% of participants using the niacinamide formulation showed improvement in fine lines compared to 41% using tretinoin. The niacinamide group also reported fewer side effects, including less irritation and dryness, indicating better long-term tolerability. Across a broader set of studies involving nearly 1,000 women, similar patterns were observed. Improvements in fine lines became visible from around 4 weeks and continue to increase over a 12-week period. This progression reflects a cumulative effect, consistent with the roles of collagen support, barrier repair, and cellular energy described earlier. In comparison, many anti-aging products are designed around a single outcome, such as increased hydration or temporary smoothing. The available data on niacinamide shows a more consistent pattern of improvement across several aspects of skin aging, including fine lines, elasticity, pigmentation, and overall texture. This type of multi-layered effect is less common in individual ingredients studied under controlled conditions. There is also a difference in how results are achieved. Clinical procedures often create a visible effect by limiting movement or adding volume beneath the skin. Some topical treatments increase skin turnover, which can improve texture but may also cause irritation. Niacinamide works in a more balanced way. It supports processes the skin already carries out, including protecting collagen, maintaining hydration, and restoring cellular energy. The effect develops gradually rather than immediately, but it tends to be more stable over time. Viewed together, the comparison becomes more straightforward. At one end are higher-cost treatments that act quickly but require ongoing repetition. At the other are products that focus on a single aspect of aging. Between these, there is an ingredient that has shown across multiple studies the ability to improve several features of aging skin at once, with minimal irritation and at a lower cost. It does not replace every other approach, but it represents a consistent, well-studied option that has been present in clinical research for many years. The practical question is how to use it in a way that reflects the conditions tested in studies. Concentration is the first factor. Most clinical research showing improvements in fine lines used around 5% niacinamide. Higher concentrations are often marketed, but they do not necessarily lead to better results and may increase the chance of irritation. A simple formulation at around 5% is sufficient. Consistency is equally important. In clinical settings, niacinamide was applied twice daily over several weeks. The effect is gradual as it depends on changes in how the skin functions. Improvements in texture and smoothness are often noticed after about 4 weeks, with more visible changes by 12 weeks. Application is simple. After cleansing, a small amount is applied to the skin before moisturizer. This allows it to interact directly with the skin before being sealed in. It can be used alongside ingredients that support hydration and structure. Studies have shown that combining niacinamide with hyaluronic acid can improve smoothness and plumpness within a relatively short period. Cost and availability are straightforward. Niacinamide is inexpensive to produce, and many pharmacy brands offer formulations similar to those used in studies. The focus should be on the formulation and regular use, rather than the brand itself. Taken together, the approach is simple. A single ingredient used at the appropriate concentration and applied consistently can support several processes in the skin at the same time. The changes develop gradually as the skin's underlying function improves, which is what ultimately influences how lines appear over time. If you thought this was useful, consider leaving a like and subscribe to not miss the next videos.